busy or whatever, you can just go off. It's okay and listen back to the lecture lah, huh?
I'm okay.
In Singapore already, is it?
Yes.
Okay, how's life? Good?
So far still alive.
Still alive. Your classmates are all here. Okay, say hi.
Hello,
Right.
hello.
Okay, so I'm recording. Let me see. Am I recording? I think I am. Right? Don't stop for like a few hours later on. Didn't record. Yeah, it is recording. Can you see from your side whether there am I recording or not?
You didn't share anything?
No, I'm using my phone, so I haven't shown the slides or anything like that yet. But I think it's okay. Normally, I thought also I don't really show a lot of slides, so let me figure out how to do that with the computer sooner. You hold on. I just want to record it today because today is the introduction class, so not to be too worried lah, huh? I think it should be okay, right? Because it did say stop recording. This is recording already. Be right.
Oh yeah, the red button.
Yeah, the red button is recording.
Okay.
Should be lah. Okay. All right, huh? So, right. So Andrew, just now we a bit late in turning on this one. I have already gone through the course plan, which is 50% exam, 50% exam for this program, for this course, and 50% for assignment. Assignment, Dr. Lee will give an assignment week 4 or week 5. And then you need to, that one I think should be individual. And then later on project 30%, that one should be group work, okay? So you need to pick up with the group member as well on the project later on. Okay, so for the 14 weeks, we will be doing, today will be on project environment. What is project environment? And then followed by next week, scope management. But next week, I will not be around. I've already spoken to them. Next week, we have a day off, but we come back on week 3, and whatever that we can't finish, I will post up recording to complete the class for week 3, okay? So that is the worth of 2 weeks lah. And then week 4 will be resources management, time management, and week 5 is a physical class, but Dr. Lee will send the link for Microsoft Project for you to install Microsoft Project into your computer, and then she will WebEx with you, so you can try out Microsoft Project as well on your own when we are having the class. And then after that, we do economics, engineering economics, followed by cost management, quality management, risk management, procurement management for 2 weeks, stakeholders and team management, followed by communication management. And lastly, we're going to have integration for the whole topic, and then the exam tips and all that. And Tuesday will be an exam. So the timetable they did set the time for the exam already. It's pretty much set already. So, but we will officially give you a schedule as well when we come to week 11 or so. Okay. This year, I think the Jana will be a bit later. So I think all of you will get a Raya break around week 8 or something, and then we'll come back for week 9. Okay. So I think by March 29, that week we will be having a break, if I'm not wrong, okay? Then the exam week is going to be very critical, so you need to be back for exam. So if you need to book tickets and all that, you need to look at the timing and all that, huh, Andrew, huh?
10.
Okay, huh? All right, you can hear me, huh, so far, huh?
So far, can. Clear.
Okay. So I will leave it on like this, huh? And then, yeah, if you can turn off the volume if you're doing something else, but I will continue talking. The recording is on already.
Can. Yeah.
Or since you are here, do you want to? Oh, so complicated. Never mind. I will do your attendance for you.
Okay. Thank you for thing.
Later on, I'll do it for you. You just give me your student number, huh? I'll do the manual one for you.
Okay.
Okay, so today we are here for project management, and the critical, I mean, the thing with project management, I believe, like, have you ever wondered, like when you visit some of the, very, very amazing kind of structure, like for example, I mean, like, we haven't been to all of this before. I mean, like, yeah, KLCC, yes, but then like, like Egypt, the pyramid and all that, the Great Wall of China and all that. Some of these particular structure. I mean, recently I've been to Angkor Wat, and honestly, when I get to Angkor Wat, I have a very, very strong urge, in researching into like how did people, not only the technology of how people built at that time when there's nothing, when there's, I mean, like we can always say it's always alien, I mean, like we like to say everything is alien, It's like if we can't answer whatever that we know, then we say, oh, it's alien from space, you see. But my question was, I was so strongly having an urge to say that why not we do, like a project management deciphering, like a forensic engineering into how people manage all these projects at that time. There's no computer at that time, there's no Excel worksheet at that time, there's no Microsoft project at that time, and there's no technique, and then when you want to like build any of this structure here, even the material itself, that stone, huge brick or huge stone is like Angkor Wat, each of the stone is like tons, and then they have to use like few people to cut through, and then all the stones come from mountains. Some mountains is a 10, 15, 20, 60 kilometers, 100 kilometers floating by river to the site where they are building that particular building. Same goes with the structure, the pyramid and all that. All the stones, the material has to come from another place, and then go to that area and then build there. So you imagine just that question. Have you ever wondered that question? That how did people manage at that time? Whereby you're going to have thousands of people working, and I'm pretty sure they need to feed them. They're not going to bawa makan from home, pay salaries if there's salary, and then living quarters, where is people going to stay, and do work for you, and then bring this thing in and on site. Who do what first? So this is actually project management knowledge, right? I believe this people at that time, thousands of years ago, they have better project management skills than all of us combined, So I'm very curious how did they do it? How did they arrange the resources? How did they do the scheduling? But probably at that time, I mean, I'm pretty sure there is a timeline that they have to follow. Otherwise, their head will get chopped off by the emperor or by the king or by the, pharaoh and all that, if things are not on time. And then what method, temporary works, you think that carrying this thing up to the top there, Pyramid Egypt is like, oh, and then the question is, what are the survey equipment? So June one, and then the stone can fit like no gap in between one. How is that done? Okay, so when I see these things, it really made me feel like, all these projects not only technology is a process, I think they have a very good project manager, superb project manager. We should learn that. How do we learn that? If we can learn that, I think our project no delay. Now one art, green line, red line, blue line, everybody's like delay law, overrun law, budget law, and all these things. Every day meeting talk about all these things. Last time got meeting or not, I also don't know. Probably take up the whip and let people rush, and then everybody start working. So I mean, I think there's a lot of skills, this is something that is not new. Whether you do it or not, whether you know it or not, at that time, probably you don't do contract management. But generally, like we say that in histories, few thousands years ago, 3,000, 4,000, and recently I've been to this Chengdu cities, and the Chengdu cities is very near. It's actually the place of what is that civilization called? I mean, like the one that we visited was the Jinsha civilization. And again, you'd be amazed at the urban development of palace, ceremonial, and where people surround, and the irrigation. My God, how did they manage irrigation? Chengdu was a plain. It's a river. I mean, it's a in the old days in China. This place, in the Sichuan province, this is where the temperature and then the weather is always very good for crops. So this is the rice bowl. See, so any military quest, like you want to fight war, go on war and all that, the food has to come from somewhere. People need to makan. The horses need to makan. The people need to makan. So the food supply is very important. So every kingdom, whenever they want to start a war, controlling Sichuan area is a very important element. Okay, and that is about almost 2,500 to 3,000 years ago, more than 3,000 years ago. Somebody already see that area is a very critical area. So they want, but Chengdu plan, all the rivers seems to be passing through it, like surrounding it. They did not masuk the plain. It's a very flat plain, so you can do like paddy and all that. It's not mountainous and all that. So the food, they can actually harvest a lot of crop there. So what do? They actually took the river, the water from a river at other locations, blast, like turn the river direction, blast mountain, and then the water are being channeled into Chengdu and flood the area so that people can do crops, plantation. Got water, not irrigation. This is the word engineer, irrigation. Wow, when I see the word irrigation, I was so excited. This is our job. Bring water into some place. And that time, we got technology. You can got dynamite. You know how smart they are? They realized that some of the stones that they are, one day somebody was cooking. So they were like building fire on the stones, that particular mountain near the river. There's a lot of big stones. So what they do was they actually put the cooking, and then when they pour the water to cool down the fire, the stone broke. So they realized that instead of needing dynamites, like people haven't created dynamites at that time, so they used that technique of contraction, and pour and contraction and all that, and then they actually, in about 18 months, blast a hole in the mountain, and then the water was channeled into the area. So something that maybe needs human labor 6 years, 4 years, 5 years to do, they did it in 18 months. So these are using intelligence, engineers using very, very smart way of solving problem. I don't have this, I need water, I channel the water from somewhere, break some river, change river direction, put out barrier, because they need to put up some barriers. The river is running like this, so you want to change it here, you need to barrier the river so that the river will change direction. So you think the river is like you can throw stone every day, go and throw, and then build out a barrier? You cannot. Oh, you need big items, big support systems and all that to build that channeling. So I think we can see that from there. I think project really needs to be managed, put it this way. And then you see at that time also got timeline already. We need to finish this in 5 years. We need to finish this in 4 years. So the emperor will give time, and then of course money. Where is the budget going to come from? So people, there's going to be a lot of people, a lot of work method that they need to actually work together. So project management, I mean, like project is not new. It's not anything new to human being, like us. So we are really a profession that is thousands of years ago. Okay. At that time, the person who did the channeling for that Sichuan area was actually called Li Bing. So his name is like, until now, everybody remember, 2,000 years ago, the engineer. It's like Leonardo da Vinci as well. That one is also an engineer, architect, doctor, everything all together. So we've got these very, very great intelligent people, and there are, I don't know, aliens maybe. Yeah, so what my point is, we are engineers deal a lot with a lot of resources, human capital, technology, material. Some of these are live things. People are live things. How do you control people? How do you reward? How do you punish? How do you move people? How do you motivate them? How do you get them to work, in the direction that you want them to? It's all very, very deep kind of knowledge. So what is project? Project is actually, I think all of us know, if anything has a timeline, it is a project. All these are one-off things, you're not going to build it like, every day, every year. But of course, some of this project lasted for like hundreds of years, maybe, or even 10, 20, 40, 50 years, okay? And, and all civilization, people were like building cities, building capital, and it takes a lot of labor, okay? And takes a lot of money, food, resources. At that time, if we say money, maybe it would be like equate to food lah. They will probably say, I pay you using how many tons of grass, and all that, or then later on maybe pay you with your land or with some form of benefit to stay in that area, citizenship and all that. So you need to have exchange, you need to have money, resources, money in terms of cost. And then things that you build, you can see some of these things are still here today. The precision, the accuracy, also quality management is, I don't know how it is done. With so many people working, I honestly don't know. Today we talk about wanting to use online monitoring, VR, and all that. People at that time go or not, don't have all. But when they have we look back into history, some of this one project, you probably take 10,000 people to work for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, 10 years. Got VR, man. Project manager at that time can monitor them, the workmanship, how? I think we can find out all these things. It's going to be it's going to be a very big breaking knowledge, to project management. So that's why it actually motivates me to suddenly go into historical project management. Something that would be how to decipher that, forensic that, and find a solution that what we are missing here today. Are we getting more and more stupid, or are we getting more and more what is the problem here? When you have every project in Malaysia always talk about delay, every project talk about budget overrun, every project talk about contract, dealing with contractor, dealing with engineer, dealing with design that is not perfect and all that. So why, So project management, the idea of a project is really to manage, to apply the knowledge of management into projects. Okay, so what is project? Project is something that has a timeline. Project is something that is dynamic. Project is something that you have an objective. There's something to deliver. Is a temporary, a temporary work to be undertaken to actually do a unique product or service. In the end, you have a result, you have a product, you have a facilities, you have got something that human being can use to improve their life, or, at that time, maybe, like historically, maybe some of it is dealing with connection with heavens, and all that kind of things, ceremonial and all that. But there is a purpose in everything that is being built, so we don't build anything for no reason. Okay, So we do have, things, to call it a project, it has to be, it's not going to be a long-term thing, okay? Whether it's 10 years or 20 years or 500 years, there will be a time when the project will finish, it will stop, okay? And then, you will be dealing with a lot of resources, okay? All right, so there's many type of project. So as we all know, civil engineer at one stage, we are not civil engineers. We are actually military engineers. We are here, all this ministry of, in the old days, in different dynasty, in different kingdoms, there is always one very important department in every court. Whether it's a Chinese court, whether it's a Tamil court, whether it's Egyptian court, there will always be a position there called Ministry of Works. So up until today, we also still got Ministry of Works. See, so we are from most engineering. The knowledge, the idea is for defense purpose. It's always about war. It's always about people fighting, and all that, and territory and all that. So then later on, when things are more settled, then people need to use, you need to build cities, you need to build ceremonial grounds, you need to build burial grounds, you need to build palaces, you need to build a lot of things. Then it started to get more and more civil. So it's for the civilians. Irrigation is for later on for civilians, their makan, their crops, they need to, like humans stop being nomadic, they're staying at a place. So with urbanization, for the area, so this is where engineering comes in. So you see, the civil engineer is the longest profession because the word civil itself tells you that we are building things for civilians. Okay? And it started off from military, when these engineers are for military, they're building defense systems, and then we go into military. And then we break it out from there, whereby we have got mechanical, whereby people are building dams, building, electricity, so these sort of things. And then followed by now going to space some more, telecommunication, having satellite all over our head, shooting rocket to the skies, then aerospace engineering. So the word engineers is really something that is so powerful in that sense. So yeah, so we know what is project. Okay, so then very quickly, this is about project. And the idea of project, it needs to be managed. Like I say, Angkor Wat cannot be built by you sitting there and dream. Great Wall of China, Pyramid of Egypt, Taj Mahal cannot be there because somebody have a dream. Somebody with the emperor will point out to this one guy and say that, oh, you are clever, you do and do it. So there will be proposing, there will be conceptualization. So you see the whole project life cycle will go. Okay, so when you are, just imagine on those days, you are the officers, because you're more intelligent, maybe, because you have a special inclination towards building things, handiwork and all that. So it becomes your job. Okay, you do. So you're the chief officer for the Ministry of Work. Then you have to have a team of people. So they will be doing conceptualization. They'll be doing drawings of how things are, connections are, the structure itself, how tall is it. Interesting thing is at that time, no computer also, oh my God, AutoCAD. Fair enough. So you see, conceptualization, whether you have technology or not, is always there. When the king says that I need you to build me my burial ground, my whatever, I need you to build roads, I need you to channel water into the plains, So you see, the thought is you need to conceptualize. Okay? So every project will always come from a need, and that need will go into somebody, that particular group of people, the engineer will think about the concept. Okay, so from a concept, maybe drawings after drawings after drawings, and then meeting up with the client, the emperor is a client at that time, the king is a client, and now we have our own client, and then the conceptualization is still the same. Okay, so we have got concept, from the concept, we will confirm on the concept. Yeah. So this scope management, you can see that it starts as early as a concept. If I want to flood doing irrigation, I need to know what are the areas, how big is my area that I need to flood. I need to understand which river I need to take the water from, and what are the in-between things that I need to do in order to flood this plain. Okay, do I need to chop the mountain? Do I need to tunnel through the mountain? Do I need to build, like, barriers along the river to channel the water another way? So you see, from the concept, you think about the different components of your work. So these different components is your product. So scope management is from the concept that you are thinking of. You may not know whether it works or not. So then you go back to the drawing board, you go back to the paper, you draw again, and then you start to say, then it will slowly materialize. If you build a house, it will be like, oh, where I put the kitchen, architect will say, I put the kitchen here, I put the wire here. Then engineer said, okay, I need to do my beam, I need to do my column here, I need to do my piling here. So based on the concept itself, we will start to develop our product. Okay, so this product development is not scope management. It's not just work breakdown management. It's about, as early as possible, understanding your client's mentality. What do they want? What kind of budget do they have? What is their idea? Especially those of you working for consulting. It's so important. You cannot just sit down and say, okay, now you say a house. Okay, I design. I take somebody's house and I throw it into AutoCAD and I just rearrange, and I say, okay, this is the project drawing. You cannot do that. So there will be a time that you need to sit down with your client, you talk to the client. It's just like ART. You need to know where to where, how many stations in between. What is the purpose of the project? What is the objective of the project? So this conceptualization, this scope management, it started as early as conceptualization. When there's a need for the project, you need to sit down and conceptualize, you need to sit down and communicate with your client, and then get a full picture about what needs to be done. Okay, so then you can see that your product will start forming. So the product itself is like colors, or the product itself is the ART. Then what are the components? We need about 3 lines. We need A, B, C. And this line will cover like this. Okay? So we will develop the idea. Or once the idea of, yes, we are, the first thing is, once the conception is on, you know which product is already there, you need to develop. You need to confirm on whether you're going to be doing this or not. There's many options. You don't have to do ART, you can do monorail. You can do MRT. Or you still do buses, one station. Or we're going to do train, high-speed train, high-speed rails. There's so many possibilities. So for transportation, do you really need ART? So in the end, when we confirm on ART, it's the concept that we think that this is the best for this particular place. So we're going for that. Then we need to develop, sit down and start to design. For transportation, you need to know supply and demand. Which area has how many people? And then how many of them will be using it? And when to stop? What are the distance to stop? And then how sensitive, we call it sensitivity analysis, how sensitive is your design? Especially with transportation project. It talks about, a lot of them has to do with what? Human behavior. The driver's behavior. The people who use the transport behavior. The political reasoning behind the project. There's many things that is dealing with people. Okay, so then when you want to build that component, when you want to design that component, before you jump into that design, you need to think about many things. You need to think about the client, not only the client's mentality, the concept, the user's mentality, the user's concept, what the users will be doing, how they will be wanting. Do they want to walk under the sun for 10 minutes even? To go to that station to sit in the MRT. So I mean, or MRT or LRT or monorail or whatever. Yeah. So we engineers, we will see from there some problems will come out, and then we will do solution. We will do that. And so you see some of the structures around the world. Sometimes they can be very funny, they can be very odd, but it is a solution. Some of them we need to maybe make sure that heritage is being kept. Some of the design maybe has to deal with culture, deal with many other elements that is not that is part and parcel of being an engineer. So you see, from product, determine the product, yes, go ahead, or no, that's one thing, one question that you have to answer. Second, is your idea robust? The robustness test. So once all this is passed, you pick that product, then you need to break it into product components. Got LRT, I've got my arch, ABC line, blue, red line, passing through how many stations, and then you need to do calculation, the analysis, and all that. That is design. That is development of the project. From that development of the project, we can finally go to the design, and we can double confirm, or this is the client, this is what is the problem solved. And then different, for example, ART, red, blue, red, blue, and white line, and another one, I think green, I think that's about three lines or so. So these 3 lines, when we do components, project component analysis, we need to think about the benefit, the cost of these components. Are they going to bring you more benefit than cost? Which means, are we going to cover enough area? You spend so much money, are you getting your money worth back? So if not, then do we need to change the route to cover certain areas? Also, or certain areas, or in between the station, to which station? Maybe there's some exchange station. Where to put all these exchange station? Where is the best location to put this exchange station? I mean, some of you have been to Singapore, some of you have been to KL. We talk about MRT, there's a lot of this, crossing exchange station. It is not something that you draw on a piece of paper and say, this is the location, that's it, I put here. No, it will be like, this is the mass, this is the amount of, this is where the most population is. This is going to be the highest level of the exchange needed for people to go travel from this location to this location. And then even as simple as how much money to charge, how much tickets to charge, and all that, it has to be properly thought of, So when you bring in your components, when you have a product, it's just a human being. There's arms, there's legs, there's body, there's organs. So each and every one of these components need to be studied, number one, through what we call cost-benefit analysis, net present value. Is this components going to be, in terms of money, are we going to make money? Number one. Most project, I would say most project, people want to make money. You build development, you don't want to make money, man. You build cinema, you don't want to make money, man. You build shopping mall, you want to build money, you want to have money, man. The infrastructure project is in such a way that it has to serve the public good. It's a taxpayer money. There is benefit to it. Maybe not directly money, but it must bring people's lifestyle to another level. Your money you spend, in the end, people still drive to work, pollution still high. What's the point? You see? So it has to be, the components itself needs to go through some analysis as well, especially whether this is the best component, this is the best design. And of course, each and every one of this component, you can also put it through the design, so you can put it through value engineering as well. So value engineering is also a very important component in terms of scope management. You know, it's like, if X to Y can do the job, do you really need to make it Z? So value engineering was that maybe in the first place you design X to Z, but when you do value engineering, you realize, you make it to X already, can work already. I mean, Y already can work already. You don't need to waste money for Z. Okay, so it's like, if 1 meter can work, why you want to do 2 meter? If 150 mm is enough to take the load, why you want to build 300 mm? You know, so when we do components design, and all that, you can put it through. Now, the most general level is to put it through whether you need that component or not. That is number one. Whether overall it will make money, overall it will bring you more benefit than cost. That one, when we look at different components, we will do that. Okay. Then we will also look at the component itself, the design of the component. So we use value engineering. Okay. And a third component that we can look at is also all these facilities in the end needs to be maintained. Our Malaysian is very good at building something but don't know how to maintain. Later on, here, leaking, sengit, road, got hole. These are all issues with maintenance. So that's why scope management should also include life cycle costing. So scope management is a very big thing that we are covering. Okay, because you can see from product itself, we are looking into product. Do we really need this product, these facilities? Then the components of the facilities and how to optimize every component. And is the component necessary? Can the component be better? And then when you finish a design, you also need to think about the maintenance of it. Some of it is, yes, it's cheaper now. Some of it is good now. Some of it serves the purpose now, but maybe in the very, very near future, it's not going to be enough already. Then you need to rebuild again, re-upgrade again. There's going to be a lot of money involved. Maybe really at this time you don't have money, so you know that this is the reason why you cannot do this size, and then therefore later on you keep amount of money to do that. That is what we call replacement and upgrading. Okay. So this has to be studied. So scope management is like project life cycle, the earlier part of the project life cycle, when you're doing conceptualization, when you're doing design, when you're doing project development, how to develop the components of the project and all that. And then it's only when you have finished the design and then you go into construction, whereby you award this project to the builder, to the contractor, construction will start. Okay, so you can see project life cycle itself will go from number one, idea, to conceptualization, to your development of your project, down to your design, final design, and procurement, which is like confirming on the contractor, the contract that you want and the method that you want and all that, and then all the way to the construction, the realization of the project, and then following through the handing over. The client starts to go into operation, using of the facilities, and then from the using of the facilities, it's going to be maintenance, repair, upgrade, and all the way. This stage is going to be very, very long. Okay, it's going to be very, very long until the project lupus, until the project finish its purpose, and then that's it. We close the project. So project life cycle itself, we have a slides on project life cycle. So I'm covering this in order for you to get a better idea of what a project is all about. Okay, and then you can see that under each of the project phases, okay, from conceptualization, there is a little bit difference between civil engineering project to maybe mechanical, aerospace, and all that. More or less, the flow is there. So what we are covering here is a lot more detail. So some of it in civil or some project you may not need it, because civil itself also, some project that definitely have to go ahead already. You don't even need to do the robustness test. So no water have to build pipeline. It's very straightforward. Some of it is like you need to think a little bit more. Some of it you may need to think about the solution development a little bit more. Some of it is the idea development is a little bit more. So this project life cycle, okay, that we are showing you here, I usually just like reduce it, like condense it to all this okay. So in each of this project life cycle, there are activities, there are things that you need to do as an engineer, okay. And I almost would say that for scope management is going to be 1 until 4 that is more focusing, that we are focusing on now. Normally execution and all that, yes, we do have our scope variation, VO, and all these sort of things that is under scope management. But at that time, if you talk about scope management, it's already very, very thin already. The thicker layer is about developing the product to the product components, to the product components, to the work breakdown. That one is the main thing that we're doing in scope management. Okay. All right. So here, very quickly, I think we've gone through this. So here is about studies, and all that, just to give you a quick idea about what project life cycle is all about. Okay. And if we talk about management, okay, management is about a few processes. You need to plan. Okay, you need to organize your resources. You need to execute the job. Okay, and you need to monitor, control, and rectify. So if we talk about the idea, the concept of management, okay, just don't say project management, but generally management. Okay, this is what we call the functions of management: planning, organizing, controlling, coordinating, execution. These are all the same thing in the same area. Monitoring, usually I like to split out monitoring and controlling, because monitoring is more calmer. You just have to keep on getting data. That is monitor. So a lot of our job as a younger engineer is about monitoring, but controlling will fall down to the project manager. They need to do control work. Okay, so meaning that if there's any problem, they need to give decision to or problem solve, to solve problems, to bring it back to the original idea and to bring it back to the original deadline or cost or whatever. So controlling is more on, what is the standard performance, and you need to meet that standard performance and make sure that you meet that standard performance, and then close the gap in that sense. And corrective action is about closing that gap. Okay. So these are just very, very, like I said, I'm not going to spend too much time on all this because I feel like, it's something that's very basic that you should already know. Okay. And these functions of management, let me see where's the notes on processes. Yeah. So this part here is on, first part is on project, and then the second part is on management. And when we are applying these skills and tools, and an idea of management into a project, we call it project management. And generally, project management are split into these sort of areas. But obviously for civil, for other aerospace, for telecommunication, there may be other things involved as well. So generally, like I said, very, very briefly, very overall, these are the things that we will be managing for any project. So these are the 10 body, we call it PMBOK, our project management body of knowledge. So these 10 areas involve like scope, schedule, cost, quality, resources, scope and resources, okay, scope and resources, and then followed by schedule, cost, quality, and then procurement risk, stakeholder procurement communication. So communication and stakeholder is more in team management and all that. And communication is about how to coordinate, how to communicate, how to make sure that the idea is being bring across to people, and how to get people to motivate them, to coordinate them, to make sure that conflict when it happens, how to manage conflict and all that. So those are communication management. So you can see that our civil engineering project management will be focusing on this area to cover. So your master's program, we are taking this and focusing on these areas, on the knowledge within these areas for you all to use for your project. Okay, so integration is the part that you're trying to integrate everything together. But as we go along, we will also talk about when to use this knowledge already, basically. So that integration bit is not going to be a very big thing in a way. It's not going to be a big topic that you need to cover for 3 hours, because like I said, scope management itself, in scope management itself, already we're talking about conceptualization, the earlier part of conceptualization, on planning. A lot of these processes needed is planning. So scope management to idea development, to design, to final designs. And these are all part and parcel of the earlier part of the project. Okay, time, cost, quality, it will also be in the earlier part of the project. It will synchronize with the earlier part of the project, because under, say, product development, yes or no, do we want to go ahead with this product? The consideration is how long it will take, how much money it will take. Okay, so that is also, you need some skills there for you to determine whether you want to go ahead with it or not. When we talk about components, most of the time we're talking about money, we're talking about quality, we're talking about how to use this item, how to make it value, how to make the performance the same way without that kind of cost. See, so even at the earlier stages, we will also bring in time, cost, quality. It's not only during construction. It's very wrong to think that time, cost, quality is only in construction. When we talk about construction, a lot of things to me is about execution, controlling, and monitoring already. Okay, not so much on planning anymore. Your plan is already all done. It's that guy who the RE. When we talk about going to site and do supervision work, a lot of us has a wrong concept of blaming the site people. The site don't follow, like don't do the right thing, Yes, it is some aspects true, but a lot of aspects is in the planning. And you don't even plan for it properly. You don't even read the client's intention properly. You don't know what to do. What are the components? You didn't think about the maintenance. You don't think about the method of work. You didn't think about the coordination when you're doing the schedule, when you're doing the costing. You didn't include that. When you're doing your PQP, you don't include certain things. So how to make sure that how the people execute that when you already have a plan, the design is done already, you expect these people to create miracle, to right all the wrongs that has been done in the beginning? You can't. So in the end, it is what it is. Genetically, there's something wrong already, but when you don't do planning well, when you don't do organizing well, the execution is going to be difficult. You cannot use control and monitoring in order to bring things back to what you want. It helps, but it's not, the ultimate thing. So control and monitoring is about, you have the right, the right standard, the correct item first before you can do control and monitoring. So for me, it's like construction site sometimes is a very stressful job because expectation is high. But in fact, at the earlier stages, earlier planning, whereby engineers need to plan the things properly, it's not well done. The study is not well done. The robustness test is not well done. The product is not well developed. And you already want to go and construct the product. So in the end, the product comes out, you look at it and say, it doesn't look like what I want. Of course, it doesn't look like what you want, because in the first place, you don't know what you want. Yeah. So then you want to go and rectify or change this, change the color, change the slant, change the, well, it's a bit too late. So you got a lot of issues like time, schedule overrun, budget overrun, and all that. A lot of court issues, a lot of contractual issues, and all that coming up at the end during construction. Because in the first place, this is not well done. Okay, so what we're trying to manage here, is really about, getting a head start, to well planned. Project management asks about planning, talk about planning, that process of planning. And be serious about planning, and be serious about conceptualization, be serious about development of the idea, be serious about scope management. A lot of us, after years of teaching project management, we see a lot of university, and even myself in the beginning, always had to focus on time, cost, quality. And you can see that this lecture here, I don't want to focus on time, cost, quality, because time, cost, and quality is already like old story. TCQ, the triangle. Who doesn't know the triangle? Nobody. Everybody knows the triangle. Oh, I realized that the issue is scope management. When you have a good foundation, when you have a good development of the scope, not only the work breakdown, but the product breakdown, the product components, and then follow in to the work breakdown. Of course, the work breakdown is very serious. The more detail that you break down, the better it will be. Yes, of course, it's going to be important as well. It's equally important. But let's not focus on work breakdown. Let's focus on product breakdown. Okay, so project management is about functioning, applying this planning, organizing, coordinating, directing, controlling, corrective actions, into a project. And then into the different areas that you need to manage. Applying planning into scope management, applying controlling into scope management, applying applying planning, organizing it into time management, applying planning, organizing, execution into cost management. Then you've got that 10 body of knowledge. And this 10 body of knowledge, within each component, there are things that you need to learn. Tools, skills, technique that you can use to manage time, that you can use to manage costs, that you can use to manage scope. Those robustness tests, the economics, the value engineering, the life cycle costing, these are all tools. These are all knowledge. These are skills. These are all techniques that you need to apply into scope management. Okay, so what does each component produce? What is the input? What is the output? What are the tools and techniques? These are some things that we are focusing on for each component. Okay, so the time cost quality is also here. You can have a read if you want to. This up and down, this is triangle thing, don't worry too much about it. So you can see that the body of knowledge, right? The idea is process. Each of these processes that we have, the initiating, planning, execution, monitoring, these are functions of management. And within the functions of management, there are processes, there are steps, there are SOP, there are things that we do for each and every one of the components, just like what I said just now, okay? So just remember, project phases, project life cycle, and project management processes is actually two different things. Okay. Do I really want to go into that much of detail? It's very theoretical, huh? Okay. So project project life cycle and product life cycle is two different things. Don't get it confused. Project management processes, basically, when we talk about project management processes, is about applying the functions of management into the project, and all the associated tools and techniques and all that. That is what we call project management processes. Okay. Is there a specific notes here on the bottom? Let me see. Yeah, processes. Yeah. Okay, so I mean, just to differentiate it a little bit more, so that you all don't get confused. So when we talk about project life cycle, okay, that is also starting off with some initiation, with some, construction, I mean, like design, construction. You will feel like it's actually similar with this, correct? No? So you imagine project life cycle, the development of the idea, the initial conceptualization, all these things is actually initiation, correct? Now, and then when we talk about design, it's about planning. It's about planning the resources, and like what to do and all that. Execution is construction, procurement, construction. Then monitoring and controlling is also construction. So you can see that project life cycle itself is like management itself. I mean, many years ago, I wrote a paper on that. I can see that there's a similarity here. A project also have to go through those sort of phases: the planning, the organization, the execution, followed by controlling, monitoring, finally deliver, and then in operation and all that. So project life cycle, you get the picture of, you get the feel of project management processes. Okay, so management itself obviously is about this thing, correct? Now, initiation, organizing, we could organize it. Functions of management is also like this. So applying the function of management into the project itself, okay, is project management. So project management, when you're applying these steps into each of the body of knowledge with the associated tools, skills, and techniques and all that, we call it project management process. So do we really need to know? Yeah, but yeah, it's something like that. Okay. Let me see if I can sort of draw it out a little bit better for you. There we go. Project versus management. Versus, okay. So when we have project management have that planning, organizing, coordinating, execution, control, monitoring and control, and then corrective action. Okay, so when we are applying these into project, okay, we call it project management. So project management is actually applying planning, organizing, control, execution, leading, okay, coordinating, execution, monitoring, controlling, and corrective action, okay, into certain body of knowledge. So you're applying this into certain area that you need to manage. We call it the body of knowledge. Or areas or specific segments that we need to manage. So when we apply this into the specific, into the specific areas, we call this project management processes. So these processes, when you apply planning, organizing into time management, there is a way to do it. Right now, you need to know how to do duration estimation. That is planning. There's tools and techniques that you need to use. Then you need to know how to draw a schedule. You need to know how to look into how the workflow is, the sequencing of the activities. These are all tools, these are all skills. Then from there, execute the schedule. When the work goes, you check, okay, everywhere, you monitor, tracking done. After you track done, or CPM, critical path method. Okay, that is planning. And then after that, when the things are ongoing, you track. You recalculate your CPM. Maybe some is out of it, some is earlier. You need to redraw your CPM. So all this is actually under control and monitoring. And if something is wrong, who needs to manage it? That is corrective action. So you see, under the time management, the management process is different. I mean, it's the same flow, the structure, the framework is the same. But the flow, the tools and techniques they use is a little different. Of course, you've got budget, you've got BQs, you've got certain early unit rate, you've got different ways of preparing your budgets. So in the planning and initiation stage, it's a little different compared to other body of knowledge. So just remember, applying these functions into a project is called project management. Applying these processes into body of knowledge is called project management processes. These are just definition now. Because why I want to mention this is like maybe it's not so important now. It's like you makan nasi, you makan sambal buruk semua digest juga sama. Same thing. But the thing is, I think it's good for us to, as academicians, as students, as you're coming here to study, get definition right now. So that whenever you see some books or when you see people talk about it, I say, oh yeah, I think this belongs to this. Not be like all mumbo jumbo later on. You yourself also talk rubbish. So be very clear about this point, even though they are the same thing. Just that, like I said, the tools and techniques for management processes into the body of knowledge, it depends on the body of knowledge. When you're doing procurement, it's different from when you're doing time management. But yet, you don't run away from initiation planning, the processes. So, okay. And so I think these are all the basic things that I want to cover with you. Very, very basic things that I think we've mentioned many times, we've learned in undergraduate studies and all that. So when we start on scope management, I want you to be very, very, very important. There's an important knowledge. So let's start on scope management now. Before we start on scope management, so these are some definition now we're covering here: project management, and then project management processes, and then body of knowledge, okay, and functions of management. These are all definition, okay? This one. I think it's so important for us, okay, especially these people, you're online later on. There's no slides to show you here. So based on this recording, just go to the project environment scan. Okay, these pictures here we have on the slides here. This is something that you have to first and foremost analyze for all your project. Okay. And I cannot emphasize on this enough. This is like a bird's eye view for every project before we start. Don't talk about management when you don't even understand where your project. Where is it from? Where is it at? What is it doing? What is the objective? What is the direction? What is it supposed to do? Who is it supposed to contribute to? What are going to be using it? These are all very important information that you. So whenever, before you do procurement, environment before you do scope management, you need to learn to scan your project environment. And you can learn to scan your project environment using these sort of techniques. Normally, I will split it up into about 3 layers. This is about 3 or 4 layers, okay? 3 layers. So there you go. Project is what you're going to build. That facilities. So at the stage that when you hear that we need something, okay, we need a new way to carry people from point A to point B. We need a bigger airport. Huh? We need, like I said, in the old days, the king said, defense purpose. We need to build a big wall to cover, people from the north to come down. Or we need to build a ceremonial ground. Exactly. So that idea itself, then we need to scan the environment. And the most important, the very direct in the middle is the idea. So in that idea, the first layer, okay, we use the word controllable. Controllable is about the immediate thing that the project will affect. But what is the immediate environment of the project that will affect the project decision? So number one, of course, is your client. Whoever initiate the project will have a very important, crucial opinion on the project. You need to know your client. So if you draw your circle, your project, the first controllable thing we don't have control, the first layer that encompasses. Number one, of course, is the client himself. Why do they want to do it? What is the objective? What is the mental behind this? Some people have got too much money, no way to spend. Could be that. You ask them to why you do project for fun. Why you want to place the toilet and go? This is what is way of go. That's it. There's no reason. Okay? So you need to know your client. Some of projects infrastructure is for the people. And people, different areas have different behavior. Okay? So you need to understand your end user. Who's the end user? I'm pretty sure building ART, teaching and building ART is very different thing. Okay? Because the end users. So you see, in that circle, the most immediate environment is your client, your end user, who is the paymaster. Do you have the money to build it? What agency has the money? Is the money going to come from federal? Is it going to come from state government? It has an impact on the project. Jadi tak jadi pun depend on that. So money, paymasters, client, end user, because these two people can be the same people, they can be very different. Situation whereby they are the same. If you look at UNIMAS, who was the client? The client is Ministry of Education, Higher Education. It's not you and I. I can complain. Okay. Paymasters, I don't know, federal government. Mohi issued federal government. So then Mohi said that I want to build Sarawak a university. It's not like Mohi going to no. Mohi bank account book up to this check. It has to be from somewhere. So you see, this is a situation whereby the paymasters, the client, and the end users, there are 3 different people. So you need to understand that. See? So in the direct environment of the project itself, where is the location of it? Is it going to be Kuching? Is it going to be Muka? Is it going to be some funny location? Or there be that is whereby you study many things. Accessibility. And then the organization, the design. Who is going to be? What kind of designer will be design? Who will be planning working with? Is there any parties that will be working? Okay. So you see, in that first layer here, you need to think about some very direct will affect the concept of the project. And some of these direct factors also they will affect the project. The project will also affect them. It's a two-way thing. You cannot solve problem and say that my problem is solved. You have more problem, that is your problem. It's not the role of engineers. The role of engineers, if we solve problem, we don't bring more problem. You know, you cannot solve problem and then cause the soil erosion. Huh? You cannot solve a problem, build a bridge, and then in the end, the river got problem. Huh? So again, that environment. It's a scan that direct environment that your project will, and who will be affected and how they will affect the project. Because the design, the concept, everything, it revolves the solution itself needs to cater for everything. And these are the first layer. Second layer, usually we will deal with the local factor. Like for example, we are building something in Sarawak. So of course, authority is very important. Huh? Law in Semenanjung and law in Sarawak, it has a bit of difference. The building ordinances are different. The contractual mode are different. The practice of engineers are different. The architects are different. So again, local environment. Okay, local environment. This area, sometimes we get a bit of a mixture. If we call it overlap. Overlap. What I mean is like, what do you mean by overlap? Like geographical factor. Geographical factor can be first layer. It also can be second layer. Okay? Because for example, if it's first layer, it means that let's say I'm in the location that's in Sebuyaga, Asajayaka, it's very far. So I do have logistic problem. If that I have a logistic problem, that logistic, that transportation, that availability of labor and machinery could be a general second layer related problem. Okay? So it's a good thing that maybe in the first layer, when we draw, you do not see it. But then when you draw second layer, this sort of thing also will affect us very closely, you know, the location, or whether it's mountainous, whether the river is flowing, whatever. It may sound like a second layer problem. Because second layer is more on the influenceable problem, not a controllable problem. When we say about controllable, we find a solution. There is a solution for influential problem, influenceable problem. Influential factors are like the surrounding, or maybe that location already no electricity, you know, that one you cannot have one. Okay, and then that area itself is too far, so it could be a geography. Or the river flow is way too fast, you know, it's upstream, downstream, there's some issues, you know, and all that. Or the clearness of the river, or you know, the mountain, and all these things have an impact. So second layer is it's called, we call it local. I mean, like second layer is, I won't call it national. I mean, like the third layer is going to be a very wider level, such as law, legislation, contract, and you know, public, the media, political, social economics, interest rate, energy price, transportation cost increase. These sort of things are not something that is within your country, but it could be a worldwide problem. So it's more of a global. The third layer is going to be on a more global kind of thing. Okay. I don't want to say that, you know, that whatever inside here, okay, whatever inside here, depending on project, it can be very near to you, it can be very far to you. So think of it as a guideline. Don't say that, oh yeah, the one out there is a bit far, I must put it outside. No, it's not like that. So if you're dealing with flooding issue, I'm pretty sure pushing weather, temperature, you know, like the rainfall, it's not going to be your appreciated issue. It has to be a very localized issue. And it has to be second layer or even the first layer. This is the problem that you want to solve. Okay? So scan your project environment. The current drainage systems, yes, it may look like a second layer problem, but if this is a drainage project, this is your first layer. So this environment scan, okay, is something that I need you all to appreciate. Like, for example, this one, religious ethnic group. Here's second layer. If your project is going to be dealing with cultural issues, or it's, it's a cultural project, or it's if it's along the way, I mean, it's like along the Western Kampong and all that. This is not going to be just local issues. I mean, it's not going to be, it's going to be very intentional. The public is not quite like, for example, as you're going to be dealing with many land, reclamations, and people moving away from places, people going to be chopping down their trees, chopping down their, whatever. It's going to be a big issue. So you see, a lot of projects, because we don't do an environment, we just don't need to do it. You can see the problem. Little construction come, you've got phone calls, you've got people picketing, say that, oh, you cannot chop this tree, you cannot pass my land, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. Then you got to see a few people, a couple of people, the moment you go to site, you got that parang to come after you. Or whether you need a whole new negotiation on the sit down and have to have a mediator with the kampong people and all that. Then the job stop. You talk about time management, how to manage time. You also cannot go, how to manage time. How to manage time? Then you have additional cost of trying to pay people compensation. Each banana tree, one banana tree, how much? We ever thought about that in the cost? So that's why before you start scope management, think about project. I know it may not be something that you are very used to, then the detail that you come up with may not be in the first try. But I don't see that this is a tool that I believe it will take you out from the project from another level. A view, instead of looking at the project based on the needs of the project, needs of the client, solving problems, because our training is in such a way that we can problem and solve a problem. So you see your consultant boss, so I got project new development, yeah, external come and solve this problem. So you think we just go in and say, oh, okay, this is the project, this is the area, okay, we need something design, and propose solution. Even in government agencies, line is not put down, the road is not put down, people, no water, blah, blah. So you see, it's very big tendency to just go and solve the problem. But I think we need to look at the problem. It's our tendency to look at the problem in detail, really look at the problem as in the problem itself. But this one here makes you look at the problem from another view. It's like a bird eye view. So then you scan the environment and see whether there's anything here that's going to be affecting the project and the solution. And then the project and this thing will solve what sort of problem. Not only the problem itself. So you're putting the problem into the environment scan and scan the environment based on the technique of 3 layers. We call it the project environment. You can use the word appreciated, influenceable, controllable, or you can use the word, internal, localized, and globalized factors. Also can. I don't see a reason why not. Okay, so I need you all to think about this. Really think about this is the exercise, because in the marking system, I will give you, Dr. Lee will give you 2 activities. I will give you 2 activities, and I want you to think about a project now, okay, that has 12 to level 1 for breakdown. That's the scope, huh? It can be a housing project, it can be a development project, it can be a transmission tower, it can be power supply, it can be drainage, it can be flooding, it can be anything. Okay, civil. and draw your project environment and upload it to the activities. And normally this is the first activity. Just do it today or this week, next week, never mind. Just do it, and we will give you 0.5 extra marks. 0.5 extra marks is 0.5 extra marks, don't divide by anything. So in the end, if you get 59, if you do this, I don't mark you right or wrong, as long as you try, 0.5 will be given. So it's going to be 59.5. Extra. So we're going to give you extra 2 marks, bonus marks. Free one. Not free lah, but then you can do something lah. So this is bonus marks. Okay, get it done. Each one of you do one project environment scan, or take any of the current project, or even better take the project that you may be using later for your assignment project. You need to find an assignment. You need to find a project. Okay, preferably practical ones that you may feel like contribute to your organization. Is better lah. Or that you already have information. That is easier lah. You want to find one. Okay. And or maybe if you're going to do group work later on for my project, how many of your 14 is it? So 4 lah. May have 4 lah. These 3 will together lah. So find a group member, so you can sit in the project, but they're trying to do the environmental scan now and just submit it. 0.5 marks will be yours. Okay, draw this thing. Okay, draw your 3 layers. List down all the factors that may affect your project or your project. The problem of what is the problem, and then what are the environment scan. And then what can affect the project, and what the project can affect. What the solution that you produce can affect. So we call it the project environment. And when we do this later on in scope management, there's going to be a topic on issue analysis and also EIA, environmental impact assessment. You will use this a lot. You will come back to it. So let's do this first. Individual. I will set up the link in our ELIP as the activities. So you just have to upload it.
This only this circle or the work breakdown?
No. Just this circle. Just this circle. You don't even have to describe your project or anything like that. Just draw this circle. And then even if you want to draw it in like manual also can. And just submit it. I mean, if you don't want to submit, it's up to you. I mean, you just don't get 0.5, that's all. Whether it matters or not to you lah. Yeah, you can submit it using PDF or scan also can. Scan and then PDF it or draw it in Word. Yeah, what is your project? Just mention what the title of your project is, whether it's a drainage project or housing project or whatever project, and then this is the project environment scan. Very simple only. I mean 0.5 also I wouldn't want to like make you work die for it lah. Huh? Oh, huh? God, we will set it like usually about a month lah. Yeah. Don't worry, when I set up in ELIP, you will see lah what is the due date lah. Just do it before that and then upload it and then get your 0.5 lah. So the one that is online, if you can't hear me, maybe you can talk to the group member later on to see how to do this project environment scan. Okay, I think that's all from me for today. Okay, I would like to leave some time for people who has, because it's physical classes, so I also want to leave some time for any one of you who has any issues that you want to speak to me about. Okay, I'm going to be here. Okay. Okay, so Nuria and also Andrew, can you just type your give me on WhatsApp your student number, then I will do the manual one for you lah.
Can.
Okay.
Yeah. So remember to submit your bonus marks activities. Oh, no need. You don't need to give me the student number because your name is already here. Andrew and Nuria. Okay, I already set as attending already. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Prof.
Okay, all done, all done.
You, Prof.
All right. Okay, so we're done for today, huh? Any questions? No? Notes I will upload in eLeap. Yeah. Today's notes are all upload on eLeap. The recording I will also upload on eLeap. Recording is all, if you guys are interested, you can also go back and listen. Yeah. But normally physical classes we don't have recording. It's just because of the special arrangements for Andrew. Yeah. So everybody gets some